Good evening. So, why are micro businesses good for expats in the Philippines? The first thing I would have to say is you have to take on board a lot of the problems people face is around family issues. Um, if you have lots of micro businesses and you have some good family members, they can all be busy making their own income at the same time making you income at this along the way. That way, it sort of takes some of those hassles off. I mean, at the end of the day, um, if you decide to move to the West, for example, the burden of the family may continue if you don't deal with it early on. But at the same time, if you give work opportunities that may not be there, say for example, there's some people that do have some skills, but I've got no way of working because they don't have the tools. For example, in Minglanilla, got some very good artists for airbrushing. So you know if you've got relatives that's good at spray painting motorbike tanks or whatever, there is a lot of small businesses you can develop if you put the tools out there because some of these people simply could never afford the tools. But I know once they get set up and get going, they're fine. You know, once that money starts flowing, they're okay. But it does involve changing some people's mentality as well. You know, if you're doing spray painting tanks or whatever, you got to make sure that whatever money's coming in is bills paid first, pay off the tank or whatever, the air tank, etc., before anybody makes any profit, or at least percentages. You know, every month so much has to be paid on the bills first. Because going forward, if you then decide to go to the West, they're sustainable. You move them away from a mindset which is often just, I've got money in my hand, I need to spend it, to actually managing the money properly. But if you're setting yourself up as an expat in the Philippines, it also means that having multiple businesses from the same location, you will get locals copy what you're doing in the sense that somebody will open, like say you open an internet cafe, they then open an internet cafe. But what I found over time is if you developed multiple businesses, you've got a constant flow of cash coming in. But even if you're affected by a neighbor opening up a store, 9 times out of 10, the place will shut down. Theirs will close over a period of time. Seen this happen so many times at our place in Minglanilla. We've had several sari-saris open, 9 internet cafes, um, whatever local business available, they will come and go. A lot of the reasons that yours will survive and do well is because you manage it properly. You know, if you keep your stock levels right in the sari store, you know exactly how much profit you've got coming in. I was talking to somebody earlier about the cost of running refrigeration, because sometimes it's not worth it, because if it's like ice water and beer, whatever, you've got to have the turnover. Otherwise, it may not be worth switching the fridge on. Um, in the same way, doing something like noodles or something may actually give a bit of extra money, but also if you've got all the washing powder, bits and pieces, people come to you because you can get more stuff from your store. Because most other stores are normally understocked. You know, you can start doing bags of rice, cooking oil, whatever. You know, this is just from the sari store side, which you can run from your kitchen window or whatever, the very way that a lot of Filipinos do it. But then you can expand that out. I mean, what I found is like with the piggery, is although having a huge turnover of pigs doesn't really yield a lot of profit, if you actually kept meat for yourself, but had some extra stock that you sold in the area, it was quite profitable. It's when you had a larger setup, like say you've got 30 pigs, you've got to offload that meat at the right time, and you've got to work in factors like the seasons and religious festivals and all these other things that affect the meat prices. Because sometimes everyone's eating fish, for example, but if you hit the right time, there's more money in it. But Certainly, there's a lot of opportunity in micro businesses. There's also the fact that you can separate the businesses out for different family members that can work to your benefit as well. Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to keep everybody working, everybody busy, and everybody's doing well, they start to see the whole thing functioning and making money for everybody, which is one of the challenges. Because a lot of the problems you have in the Philippines is people go, well, Uncle Jimmy sends us 6,000 pesos a month, working 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. I would earn about that anyway, so what's the point? What you're trying to do is actually develop more of an entrepreneur spirit where people are quite happy to do stuff. They're working from home, they're doing bits and pieces. And there's a lot of stuff out there. There is a lot of ventures out there. I know some people that do school uniforms. I know some people that do pageant clothing, some that make suits. Um, and then you've got like the day-to-day stuff, like a little sari store, internet cafe, and then there's other stuff you can do online, like the web design, um, YouTube stuff. Because I mean, YouTube stuff hardly been touched relating to the Philippines, because all the expat stuff's the same. I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that most people are doing very similar stuff. So going out of the comfort zones into new stuff that nobody else is doing, there's a lot of stuff out there that's certainly available and not even being touched upon. But certainly there's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, there's the big thing I found in the Philippines is there's always an idea. That's one of the things I did like out there is you go in there, and you can start developing something quite small and unique. I was talking to somebody earlier today about it, because a big problem in the UK you would have is it's like, where's your permits? Where's the premises? And before you know it, you've got contracts being signed and paperwork and training courses just to get an idea going. Never mind actually having a working product generating an income. In the Philippines, you can pretty much do what you want 9 times out of 10, as long as it's not bothering anybody, not dangerous, etc. And that's one of the unique things there that is good. It's what makes it viable. It's what makes it work. But ultimately, you need to be the guy that manages the money. You need to be the person that's on top of it. You need to be on top of it in a way that people visually know that you are watching where the money goes and comes, and knows how much everything costs, etc. Not because they'll steal from you, but the fact is that if everyone's aware exactly what's going on, it just removes that whole risk. Same with like maintenance programs. If you're doing something with, say, taxis, motorbikes, whatever, have a schedule for the maintenance on them, so that you know when the oil change is getting done. You know when the battery was last changed, charged, or had a new alternator, etc. So it's actually done in a very professional manner. Because if you allow people to be sloppy with it, they go sloppy with it, and they go sloppy with it is why a lot of these businesses simply fail. Because a lot of them are viable, it's just a lot of them are very badly run, and it's just moving away from that and moving into a more positive mindset that this is a business, it's not a hobby. Doesn't matter how small it is or how big it is. You run it professionally, you normally have a business that functions. Even like, I mean, I was talking to Tim the other day with a girl who's a student, about doing phone load, because as long as you're not letting people have credit, which is the biggest risk on phone load, you can find that it makes money quite easily. And as a student, there's a lot of customers, at the schools or whatever. There is a lot of customers buying load off you constantly. Very easy to make money on that. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.